Friday evening, January 31st, 2026. An 84-year-old woman steps out of a car in front of her home in the Catalina foothills. She waves goodbye to family. She walks up the path. She opens her front door, and she disappears. The next morning, she doesn't show up for church. Her phone rings unanswered. Her family drives over, heart pounding. The door is unlocked. Inside, everything looks normal. Purse on the counter, keys in the bowl, but on the front porch, blood. Nancy Guthrie, mother of NBC, Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie, grandmother to 2 little girls, a woman who still drove herself to church, still gardened, still lived independently, was gone, taken, against her will. That is what investigators now believe. 15 days later, as of February 15th, 2026, there is still no sign of her. No body, no ransom demand that held up, no arrest. But the case has exploded. FBI SWAT teams raiding homes at night. A gray Range Rover towed from a fast food parking lot. DNA that doesn't belong to Nancy. Gloves scattered across miles of desert. A masked man on camera tampering with her doorbell seconds before she vanished. This is not just a missing person story. This is a grandmother who walked into her own house and never walked out again. Right now, thousands of tips, a $100,000 reward, a daughter on national television begging for answers, and still no one in handcuffs. So the question burning in everyone's mind, including yours, is simple. Who took Nancy Guthrie? And why haven't they been caught? Welcome to Stateside Unsolved Cases. If you want the full story, every lead, every contradiction, every haunting detail, stay with us. Let's go back to the beginning, because sometimes the smallest details tell us the most. Nancy Guthrie was 84 years old, a widow, a mother of 3, including Savannah Guthrie, the co-anchor of NBC's Today Show, a grandmother who still drove herself to church every Sunday, who loved her garden, who still had that spark in her eyes when she talked about her grandkids. She lived in a quiet, beautiful neighborhood in the Catalina foothills, the kind of place where people wave at each other and doors stay unlocked a little longer than they should. January 31st, 2026, a Friday evening. Family members had taken Nancy out earlier that day, maybe a doctor's appointment, maybe just time together. They dropped her off at her home around dusk. She got out of the car. She walked up the short path to her front door. She went inside. That was the last time anyone saw her alive and well. Morning comes. Nancy doesn't show up for church, something she almost never misses. Her family starts calling, no answer. The phone rings and rings. Worry turns to fear. They drive over. The front door is unlocked. They step inside. Everything looks normal. Her purse is on the counter. Her keys are in the usual spot. Her phone is there, but Nancy is not. Then they see it. On the porch, blood. Not a lot, but enough. Investigators arrive quickly. They test it. It's Nancy's. From that moment on, this is no longer a maybe she wandered off case. The Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI classify it as a suspected abduction. Nancy Guthrie, 84 years old, independent, loved, was taken from her own home. February 1st, afternoon. The house is taped off. Forensics teams move in. Neighbors start talking. I didn't hear anything. She was always so sweet. I saw a strange car a few days ago. February 2 to 3, the first big public plea. Savannah Guthrie appears on Today, voice shaking, asking for prayers, for tips, for her mother to come home. Thousands of tips flood in, over 13,000 to the FBI alone. The reward starts small, then jumps to $100,000. Cash for information leading to an arrest and conviction. The community responds. Vigils outside the house, flowers piling up on the porch. Neighbors pull their own doorbell footage, hand it over. Then the first major lead breaks, February 11th to 12th. The Nest doorbell camera footage is released. It shows a man approaching the porch the night Nancy vanished. He's wearing gloves. A black Ozark Trail 25-liter hiker backpack, possibly a balaclava or mask. He tampers with the camera, tries to disable it. The FBI puts out the stills, 5 feet 9 inches to 5 feet 10 inches, average build. They ask the public, "Do you recognize this backpack? Did you sell one recently?" February 13th, late Friday night. Everything changes again. SWAT teams, FBI agents, forensics vans. They swarm a residence about 2 miles from Nancy's home. Federal search warrant. A gray Range Rover is pulled over nearby, towed from a Culver's parking lot. One man is detained, questioned, later released, described as cooperative, a person of interest, but not under arrest. Roads blocked for hours. Neighbors filming from windows. The internet explodes with speculation. As of today, February 15th, 2026, day 15, there is still no arrest, no confirmed suspect in custody, no sign of Nancy. But the investigation is far from over. Let me ask you something right now, because I know you're feeling it too. If this was your mother, your grandmother, someone you loved more than anything, and you woke up to find blood on the porch in an empty house, how would you hold it together? How long do you think you could wait before the hope started to hurt more than the waiting itself? That's where the Guthrie family is right now. In the next section, we'll look at the investigation itself, the leads they're chasing, the homes they've searched, the evidence that could change everything. By the time the blood was confirmed as Nancy's, the Pima County Sheriff's Department already knew this wasn't going to be a simple missing persons call. They brought in the FBI within hours. The house was sealed. Forensics teams in white suits moved through every room. Neighbors stood outside in clusters, whispering, watching. From day one, the focus has been narrow and urgent. Abduction. No forced entry, no signs of a struggle inside. Blood only on the porch, suggesting whatever happened started right at the threshold. Someone came for her. Someone took her. From the Nest doorbell footage that showed the man, 5 feet 9 inches to 5 feet 10 inches, average build, wearing gloves and a black Ozark Trail 25-liter hiker backpack, face possibly covered. A bit of leeway had began in the investigation. Gloves started turning up, multiple pairs, some as far as 10 miles away. Each one collected and tested for DNA, fibers, prints. February 13th, late Friday night, federal search warrant executed at a residence about 2 miles from Nancy's home. SWAT, FBI, forensics on scene. Gray Range Rover pulled over nearby in a Culver's lot, towed for examination. One man was detained, questioned, and then released. They said he had been cooperative. No charges were filed against him and no arrests were made. As of February 15th, day 15, no one is in custody. No confirmed suspect named publicly. Search teams still combing rural and rugged areas outside Tucson. They have been over 13,000 tips to FBI, another 18,000 plus to the sheriff. The reward climbed to $100,000. Community response has been overwhelming. Vigils outside the house, flowers piling up, neighbors still handing over their own cameras. Savannah Guthrie has been posting updates, raw, heartbroken messages asking for prayers and any information that could bring her mother home. Let me ask you something straight. If this was your family, your grandmother, and 15 days passed with blood on the porch and no answers, would you still believe someone out there knows something? Would you still have hope? That hope is what keeps the search alive. Now let's look at the evidence that could, and maybe already has, pointed investigators in the right direction. We'll examine the blood trail, the unknown DNA, the gloves, and why none of it has led to an arrest yet. The blood on the porch was the first undeniable sign that something violent happened at the door. It belonged to Nancy. The pattern suggested she was injured or struck right there, possibly as she opened the door or was pulled outside. Investigators believe the attack was quick. No signs of prolonged struggle inside the house. No overturned furniture, no broken glass. Whatever happened, it started and ended fast. The unknown DNA is the piece that could change everything. Found on the property, not Nancy's, not any close family members. It's being run through CODIS and other databases right now. If it matches someone known to law enforcement or someone who has submitted DNA voluntarily, it could lead straight to a name. The doorbell footage remains the clearest image investigators have of the person who may have taken her. The man in the black backpack and gloves. He's deliberate. He reaches up to disable the camera before stepping fully into view. That single action tells us he planned this. He knew there was surveillance. He came prepared. The gloves scattered across miles are another layer. Multiple pairs recovered. One found far enough away that it suggests someone driving, discarding as they went. Each glove is being tested. For Nancy's DNA, for the suspects, for trace evidence like soil or fibers that could point to a location. The gray Range Rover towed on February 13th is still under examination. It was stopped after a traffic stop near the search site. No public details on what, if anything, was found inside. But the fact that it was towed and the driver questioned shows investigators had a reason to connect it to the case. Early reports mentioned possible ransom notes sent to media outlets. Deadlines passed. No follow-up contact. Those notes are now considered unverified or part of the tip noise, not central to the active theory. Put it all together, and the picture is clear. Someone targeted Nancy's home. They disabled the camera. They left blood at the door. They left behind DNA and gloves. And they left with her. Yet 15 days later, no arrest. No public suspect. No body. No ransom confirmation that held. That gap between strong physical evidence and zero charges is what makes this case feel so heavy. Let me ask you something honestly. If you were the detective looking at that doorbell footage, the blood, the DNA, the gloves, and 15 days had passed with no arrest, what would keep you up at night the most? The answer for investigators is probably the same one you're feeling right now. Time is slipping away. This case reminds us how quickly safety can turn into silence. A locked door, a working camera, a small moment of awareness. Sometimes that's all it takes to change the outcome. If this story has left you uneasy, if it's made you look twice at your own front porch tonight, then let that feeling move you. Check the links in the description. There are reliable household security cameras, affordable, easy to set up with motion alerts and cloud storage that many families are using right now to feel a little more protected. I've linked a few trusted options that have helped others in similar situations. Because Nancy mattered, her family matters, and so do you. If you have any information, no matter how small, please call the Pima County Sheriff or the FBI tip line. A $100,000 reward is still active. Thank you for staying with us through this hour. If this moved you, like the video to spread awareness, subscribe and turn on notifications. We'll update as soon as there's news. Comment below. What would you do tonight to make your home feel safer? Your thoughts matter. This is Stateside Unsolved Cases. We'll keep digging until answers are found.